And now, the best 60-ish seconds of your week. And this week, the U.S. economy, the Biden economy, lurches into official recession. But of course, the Biden administration has to try to reinvent the definition of recession in order to claim that we aren't really in one. They want us to believe that the economy is just hunky-dory, but every American consumer has known for a long time that we were either in a recession or lurching towards one. With gasoline prices where they've been, with groceries sky high in price, with home heating fuel looking to be ominous in price this winter, people are really having a hard time making ends meet. And that pretty clearly indicates that the economy is not doing well, as the Biden folks would like us to believe. So they want to play word games, as they always do. But I'm reminded, and would like to paraphrase my old boss, Ronald Reagan, in saying that recession is when your neighbor loses his job. Depression is when you lose yours. And recovery is when Joe Biden loses his. And so Joe Biden, trying to turn our attention away from the economy, has a little conversation with President Xi of China and ends up getting scolded by the communist Chinese head of state and simply sits there and takes all of it. I mean, this is China, the same folks that have stolen our intellectual property, manipulated currency, made bad deals with Hunter Biden, taken incredibly horrible human rights violations to an all-time high, especially the hand of the Uyghurs, and now are buying up U.S. land. Think about that. Over 350 million acres of prime farmland here in the U.S., much of it near very strategic military bases. When you think about the amount of property they've taken, it's roughly the size of the state of Iowa. In fact, a little bit bigger than that. That's a serious concern for every American, and we ought to be watching it very, very closely. And meanwhile, Nancy Pelosi wants to go to Taiwan, and the Biden administration is telling her she shouldn't go. Far be it from me to be the prop for Nancy Pelosi, but she's right. She should go, and she should take a bipartisan contingent with her to show these communist Chinese that we mean business, that we're not backing down to their threats, and that if they attack our ally, Taiwan, by the way, the world's largest chip manufacturer, a key component to all of life these days, we're going to defend Taiwan. You know, we're not backing down to a premier or president or whatever the hell he is who tells us that he's going to bring a scorched earth policy to us if we play with fire in the Chinese straits. So let Nancy Pelosi go to Taiwan. She would be the first Speaker of the House and the highest U.S. official since Newt Gingrich visited there not that long ago, and let her deliver a symbolic message to the communist Chinese, kind of the international diplomatic middle finger, in saying, we're not backing down, we're not taking your threats. Hopefully she'll do it with a bipartisan group, but regardless, it's a good thing for her to go. And while the economy doesn't seem to be recovering, Joe Biden has. He's announced to the world now that he's negative for COVID, but he couldn't do even that without taking a shot at President Trump. Think about that. And what did he say? He recovered more quickly than Trump, who had to be taken to Walter Reed Hospital, unlike himself, because of the vaccines. And where did those vaccines come from? Operation Warp Speed, put into place by President Donald J. Trump, and who was harshly criticized by Joe Biden and the Democrats at the time for putting out drugs that weren't fully tested, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The hypocrisy of the American left just grows and grows and grows. And when you think about the fact that during the campaign, Joe Biden told us he was going to get rid of the virus altogether, you can see how well that's worked out, as with so many other things. And if you're watching, the Mega Millions jackpot grew to over $1.1 billion this week. I'm actually going to participate. I mean, I couldn't really do that much with 20 or 30 million, but $1 billion, that's real money. I'll see what's going on. It's really going to be fascinating to see who ultimately takes that prize. And the national pastime is into full swing now. Post All-Star game, we're seeing some really interesting things. We saw an 8-6 triple play a couple of weeks ago, the first time in Major League history that happened. And this week we see an inside the park grand slam. These things don't ordinarily occur. This has been an amazing baseball season already. It's going to be even more fun. And with just a couple of days before the trade deadline, things are getting every day more fun to watch. And for now, that is the best 60-ish seconds of your week.